Right. This is episode 1 of the
The Vinyl
Vinyl Collective
Collective.
podcast. Me, Tope with my co-host John. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah. How are you feeling? First week in the studio.
Happened so fast, really. To be fair, so I'm feeling good. To be honest, I'm feeling good. It's been, I won't say it's a long time coming. I know a lot of people like to say that it's not a long time coming, but it makes sense. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah,
I think especially we've all been like working from home. You're kind of seeing everyone, especially on social media, like the pressures like be productive. You've got to have like a side hustle. We've got to have something that's going on. But we've bided our time.
Yeah, we have a lot of music's come out this year, and I think that's probably what's kind of motivated me. To be fair, to kind of be like, yeah, I want to talk about music a lot more because so many albums. You got to think like Jay Huss's album came out January,
Yeah.
which
And
felt
that
like
felt
yeah,
it's like it's been more than a couple of years since that.
yeah, it feels like
Um,
a world away. But yeah,
yeah.
so cool. This is us talking everything music, talking everything. Well, not necessarily Vine. I'm gonna cut this shit out, but okay, cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
talking hip hop, rap, R&B. We're going to be here talking every single week,
Yeah.
which is the aim. And yeah, just like we're not just going to be talking about specific songs each week. So if you're not like particularly familiar with the artist we're talking about, we're also going to look at albums and like themes. So a bit like what we're doing today's episode.
Yeah. And if you don't know some of the songs, join us for the ride. You know, why not? You might find out something new. So, yeah. So, I guess let's talk a bit about, why we're doing this, right?
Yeah.
The usual question would be, oh, you like music so much, so this is why you want to talk about it. But I'm pretty sure there's got a point in your life, right, where you're speaking music to someone and that sudden realization comes to you and you're like, fuck, like, I listen to music in way deeper than the average person. Now you're kind of dealt with a conundrum of, okay, shit, like, how do I have these conversations? Like,
Yeah.
you might know, when Drake did this thing, it was so cool. And someone's just like, yeah, I just like the chorus, mate. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I just like the song, I like the chorus. I like it in the club. That's pretty much it. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I guess when you want to have a bit more in-depth conversations, it's a bit harder to have that with regular people.
Yeah. I think especially because we talk so much anyway.
Yeah.
Like probably I'd say like 60-70% of our conversations are probably taken up by talking about the latest album or talking about production on a particular song or something, which, as you're saying, when you have conversations with friends, they might listen to the same artist but not in the same way. And that's why, as you said the other day, it felt like a natural progression to then just take it and like make a podcast, talk about it. We had a phone conversation, I'd say maybe like 6-7 weeks ago, where I was like out for a walk and you just talked for about an hour about the Leanne Havas album.
Oh, yeah.
And at that point, we're a bit like, okay, something needs to be done.
Yeah. I actually remember that. Actually. I think it was like the week it came out, and I was like,
Yeah.
I even heard myself like, damn, like I'm proper talking about this, and it just came out this week. So I was like, yeah, this is definitely gonna happen.
You surprised me a bit with the knowledge of that one. Like every single song, you'd obviously listen to at least a handful of times.
Do you know what it was? Like 5-year wait for
5-year
Leanne
wait.
Havas, and we're
That should never
definitely gonna
happen.
have a Leanne Havas episode at some point. But yeah, I think it was just such a long wait, and when it came out, it was just everything I was listening to. Such a good artist. So I think with me, I always try to piece out what the story is with every album. I know not every artist tries to follow one, but I think the fact that she called it Leanne Havas, for example, I was like, there's definitely something to this. So yeah, I just really just sat with it over and over and over, and then
self-titled album is a statement.
Bold move. It's not what you do for like a debut album or something. So yeah, it was quite weird that she did that, but yeah, I remember just talking to you about that for so long, and yeah, just literally going through track by track. I'm like, why is she doing this, or she did this, and yeah, so
We'll talk about that at some point, I'm sure.
yeah, 100%. We're definitely gonna have an episode. So yeah, so today's topic. So it's no surprise, a lot of the hip hop world's been dominated by, to be honest, women. During the last 2-3 years, I think women have seen a good increase in popularity and exposure.
Yeah.
And that's on both sides of the coin. So I think 4 years ago, No Name came out with Telephone. Then you got Rapsody came out with Latest Wisdom and Eve. So she's been popping up a lot recently. But then you also got some of the new cats like Megan Thee Stallion, Miss Banks even.
Yeah.
Cardi B came out with her debut album, which is really good. So yeah, it's been a good time for women in hip hop, and it's really refreshing to see that. However, a lot of the conversations surrounding one side of the equation always seems to circle around quite a, I don't know, I don't want to say stupid, but not a well thought out argument. So basically the Megan Thee Stallions of the world, really. So, you know, you talk about songs like, you know, WAP, you know, the streets is loving that song at the moment.
Yeah.
But, you know, a lot of people hear that song and be like, you know, this ain't real music. Like, you know,
there's no content here. It's like walking around in no clothing.
Yeah, exactly. And they're like, I think it's fair enough if you think that, right? But I think what's annoying when it's like they use another artist as a reason why you shouldn't listen to this artist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I guess it's the whole thing of like pitting artists against each other, which I think we obviously see more with women anyway. Yeah. Like you see it all the time, don't you? Like not just in music, but in like social media or like whatever the situation is, often women are like pitted against each other. So I think that's why when you see this and you're saying Rapsody, like the Scapegoat, she's used as like an excuse to criticize other women, which she would obviously not want to be happening, you know?
Yeah, and I think a lot of her career has been defined by that, unfortunately. So I think it literally got to a point where, especially when that Cardi song came out like a month or so ago, she literally just had to immediately like praise the song, so just so everyone could just get off her back and be like, I endorse this music. You know, get the fuck off me. Like all the time, every single time, it's always just her being used as like an example. And I think what's so interesting about that is, look, I've been to No Name concerts, right? I haven't been to Rapsody concert yet, but I would assume it's gonna be.
I was reading a review the other day about well, it's probably about Eve. Yeah. And they were saying she was it Jazz Cafe like 4 years ago? Okay. If only I'd been listening then, because that would have been quite a concert.
Yeah. I
don't know if that was for what was it? Crown came before Layla's Wisdom?
Yeah, Crown. The little EP. Oh god, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah,
I was listening to that today on the way here.
Crown's
trying to brush up,
especially that song with Absol. That song's good song.
She has a lot of great songs in that.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, Rapsody is a great artist, right? But I think there's a time and place for everything, right? And I'm not even gonna say that whole stupid argument of certain songs are for the clubs and certain songs are for when you're just by yourself. I think it just depends on your mood, and that's how I kind of take music in general. Like if I feel a certain type of way, maybe I'm just feeling a bit rugged, okay, I'll listen to something that reflects that. If you kind of think of Meg and Cardi and you kind of do the male equivalent, you're not thinking Kendrick Lamar, you're not thinking Drake or J. Cole, you're more thinking J-Rock, Baby Keem, something like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know why people try to act like the male equivalent doesn't exist, like to the same degree. Like, you know, no one ever goes on and says, all these fucking guys are always talking about having sex with these women. Like, it just is what it is, right? And if you want to listen to music that's talking about, you know, their struggle or whatever, you've got that as well. Like, I think there's, for some reason, just never allowed to be room for both when it comes to female artists. And it's quite weird because same way I might listen to, again, like a Schoolboy Q or J-Rock, because maybe that's just my mood at the time. Yeah. Women might just be in that mood as well, where it's just like, okay, I just need some nonsense, you know, you know, I'm going to my man's house tonight. Do you know what I mean? Like, I want to listen to that type of music. So it's just kind of discouraging all the time just to hear that, like, okay, this music's not good enough. Because, again, there's no such thing as great ideal music. There's no ideal song. You know, for every J Hus, right, there's a Aveline or a Rich 3 like, both are great artists, right? But they definitely make very different music and definitely focus on very different things. So I think you were saying about like boxing them in, because it's like it's a like classic double standard, isn't it? In music, where like the women, I think what's interesting as
like
well,
female
like,
artists aren't
when it
allowed
comes
to express like
this argument is that
in the same way.
Not only is it applied to the Cardis, the Megans, Miss Banks of the world, it's also applied to a select that like kind of subset. So I'll give an example just to kind of make more sense. So you know, Beyonce made an album with Jay-Z like a year ago, right? and Beyonce's been on the Savage remix.
Yeah.
I don't think I heard a single comment that said, why is Beyonce rapping like this? She needs to go back to, you know, singing or just, he was like, yeah, this is great. I love this shit. Like, and Beyonce was rapping very ignorant. Like, she wasn't saying anything meaningful. She was, you know, talking about, and she's had so many songs like that where she's kind of just talked about, you know, what she's going to do to her husbands and things like that.
Yeah.
But again, it really just seems to be with a particular type of women, especially young women, maybe single women who are like, you know, very independent and kind of show that off. Yeah. Whereas I think a lot of, I would say guys in particular, they do like a woman that emulates a male rapper. And yeah, what do you think about that? Like, if you think of the popular female rappers, like the ones people say, oh, they're so great. Normally you look at it, they do emulate just the male rapper, don't they?
In the sense of like the content of their music. Yeah. So an example would be what, like
Queen Latifah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I get what you say about the young, like, independent, like, oh, they're brash, they're like not doing what we're expecting of them. Yeah. Like, we expect like female rappers to be like conscious rappers. Like no, we want every single like female rapper to like just talk about their own personal, like, social, like racial, like whatever struggle or experience. And if they're just out there making songs about like sex, clubbing, drugs, alcohol, that's not what we're expecting of young women. Yeah. Which is ridiculous, because if you're a guy, you're allowed to do that. Yeah. And yeah, I guess that's why WAP was like such a controversial song. Even like going back quite a few years, like Nicki Minaj with Anaconda, right? Yeah. That came out, when was that, like 2015?
I think so. I'm not too sure.
I mean, obviously that the music video is burned into my memory, but but yeah, that was a similar thing. I think an interesting comparison, like, between WAP and Anaconda, and like the whole thing around women not being able to like be sexual in their music, is about, like, I guess a lot of male equivalent songs of this, like, women are like the object of sex, right? They're like objectified. But then with Anaconda, it was like women were objectifying men, the other way around. Yeah. And it was like I guess a bit of like, whoa, what's going on? Like, why are women doing this? I didn't like, were they allowed to do this? Like, that's why it was so controversial at that point, right?
Yeah. And I guess I think just one of the few ways I can emphasize, right? Because obviously the main endorsers of hip hop are going to be men, right? Yeah. And when it comes to any sort of music, when it comes to any sort of music, it's mainly just you trying to relate to what the artist is saying, or you're trying to feel what they're feeling. So it's, in some ways, everyone does this, where it's like you listen to a song and you either imagine you're them, or you kind of relate to what they're going through. Yeah. Can't really do that as a man when Megan's talking about letting it drip down the side of her throat and shit like that. Like, it's not anything that you can really sing out loud and be like, yeah, that's me. Like, whereas women can do that. So maybe it's a thing where men feel a bit excluded from that type of genre of music, because it's not something that they can really connect to, right?
But I guess if you're, I mean, lovely example, Tope, but like, if you're like not relating to the music, then you can like just step back, like shut up and just let them do their thing. And like, if there's some musicality about it that you appreciate, then give them that and just be like, cool, all right, I'm not going to consume this music, but I'm not going to tell them they're rubbish because I can't relate.
Yeah, because that's the thing. There's a difference, to like a shit song. Like, a song could just be shit. You've had it's shit, and songs just being like, okay, you know what? I get why someone else who isn't me would enjoy this. All right. And just by the way, I'll just add in this little.
I can tell this what's been annoying.
Yeah. I don't get why people act like, you know, the No Names and the Rhapsodies of the world don't make songs about fucking men, or like begging for men to take them back or stuff like that. Like, if you think of both of those artists' last albums, talk about Room 25, right? Great album. Yeah. Half the album is her talking about the guy she lost her virginity to. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, talking about, you know, how he went off with a new woman, and, you know, the karma's gonna come back to you, like, you know, like similar stuff that maybe Cardi B will talk about. I mean, she raps about that on like Be Careful and stuff like that. Yeah. Rhapsody, again, no brainer. Like, she's made plenty of songs. Like, again, like, I think there was one lyric where she said, all her exes got 2 strikes. You know what I mean? Like, you think, oh, that's like a Cardi B line. Like, no, that's a Rhapsody line. Like, just because they're making a certain type of music, which maybe, you know, assumed to be more socially conscious, doesn't mean they don't experience the same world that, you know, a Cardi B or Megan Thee Stallion would. All right. Also, you just got to factor in that not everyone has the and again, this is just a complete assumption. I'm not trying to shit on them, but not everyone has the same emotional capacity to express themselves the same way.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Just to go over to like a male example, there's a J-Rock song called "Broke." Right, love the song.
Which album is this up?
This is on Redemption. Yeah, Redemption. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I haven't listened to that album all the way through. I listened to like, was it Win?
I love that song.
What do you mean? It has like 12 words.
Stop chasing that bitch. That's always got as simple as that, isn't it?
Yeah, I do.
But yeah, like the song's called "Broke," and literally the chorus goes, "Have you ever been broke?" Like, do you know what I mean? Like, he's not trying to say it in like a complex way, but maybe that's just, you know, that's what we kind of known him to be. He's kind of, he's not like a wordsmith. He just says how he feels.
Yeah.
And I think people need to, like, you know, understand that for the same way when it comes to women rappers or women like artists, where it's just like, they're women, and, you know, you assume they'll be more in touch with their emotional side, but not all of them are going to be like, want to put it all on wax and be like, this is how he made me feel, you know, and like, you know, not everyone can wear their heart on their sleeve like that. And I think that's why it's kind of necessary. It's like, you know, maybe you broke up with a guy and you're like, you know, fuck it, you know, fuck that guy, you know, let me listen to like a City Girls and stuff like that. You should have room for that. I think everyone needs that kind of duality. You can't just have too much of one thing because then it gets stale.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And like, you know, like I said, I've been to the concerts, and, you know, you look at the demographic, like all these people who claim to listen to the No Name so much, you go to the concerts, like, wow, there's an awful lot of women here. Like, where's all the guys that say they listen to No Name? It's really interesting. And like, not to be that guy, but if I told them, so what do you think about that last album? Just be like, oh, what Telephone? I'm like, no, the one after that. You're not going to tell me anything. Yeah, and it's okay to kind of find these artists boring. Like, you know, like, not everyone wants to go on like genius.com and decode like every line and like bar by bar. Do you know what I mean? Or on top of that, some voices are just a bit too soft for some people. Like, if you kind of see, like, with, like, for example, like a Miss Banks, she's very commanding. Like, when they say something, you're gonna listen because their voice is so strong. Whereas you've got someone whose voice is quite soft, it might not even be a thing where you don't like the artist. The artist doesn't grasp you like that, and maybe, you know, it's like warming up to an artist, right? Like, so certain voices are just like really lo-fi. Like,
does that come back to your mood again though? Surely.
Yeah, exactly. Like, sometimes you don't want music blasting through your ears. Sometimes you just want something pretty chill. Yeah. But if you kind of think, again, if a lot of people who listen to music, some people listen to music just to kind of pass the time of what they're doing. So they're not gonna, like, you know, simultaneously whilst, you know, sweeping the floor, try to decode the latest lyric. You know what I mean? That's not what they're gonna do. So it's completely understandable. It's like, okay, while I'm room, I just want something that excites me, you know, gets me going. Let me finish off the task that I'm doing. So and again, like, I would walk out of a club. Like, I would ask my money back. I went to the club and they started playing No Name.
No Name.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm walking out, like, and I'm getting my money back. Like, what the fuck would you want? Like, what are you doing that for? So, I think, people just need to understand the balance. Like, you know, these artists are talented, you know, in different ways. Like, Rapsody can't do what Megan Thee Stallion can. She can't. Doesn't mean she's a bad artist, but I don't think she can rap the way Megan Thee Stallion can. She's actually quite a competent rapper when it comes to, like, flows and cadence and stuff like that. So different skill sets, really. Yeah.
And I guess going to, like, I mean, we're both massive, I mean, I call myself a big fan of Little Sims, but I mean, I'm not quite as big a fan as you are.
That's coming
but
soon. That's coming soon.
It's coming soon. But I guess she's an example of, like, the more, I mean, especially, I mean, her latest album, like, maybe more on the side of, like, you're conscious or, like, engaging with issues type of rapper who's female, who's British, who's young, and again, not getting the same kind of exposure that you see from kind of bigger artists in the US and the UK as well. what are you thinking the reasons for that are again? Similar kind of double standard in music, or just a lack of like UK market exports? I don't know.
There's so many reasons for that one. I think if you talk about Little Sims in particular, I think she's quite a unique example, where she's one of those UK artists that are much bigger elsewhere. So it's kind of hard to understand. I think, to be fair, if we're talking just in like the UK, I think her sound just isn't very British. It's not that she's not like British and
Production wise,
production wise. Like you hear her, she's a British woman, of course. But I think when you outside of a song like 101 FM, for example, her kind of production, especially around her latest album, and even the one before, to be honest, is kind of more akin to like American artists. And I think that's why when it came to her second album, there was a lot of American features like Sid and Sir and things like that. I think it just kind of makes sense. Like I can't imagine certain UK artists on that type of sound. So I think that's a factor. But again, I think it kind of falls under the same like remit where it's just like she is kind of encompassing that kind of male archetype of a rapper, and that doesn't mean later on she can kind of find a way and express her womanhood in her latest album. But I think that's why it probably took so long for people to get to her, because it's just
the
like
expectations.
Because you're gonna put her in the same pool as like an Avelino and Wretch, like just male rappers, right? But I think again, like no pun in the title, it really is just a grey area of like someone like Little Sims.
You planned that, didn't you?
Yeah. No, I didn't plan that.
He's got it written down as like,
no, it's all free.
Drop in this line
off the dome, mate. It's off the dome. But like I think with her again, it's just kind of like she's not like in terms of like talking about guys all the time. She has songs for that, but again, it's more just like she's a rapper's rapper, really. So I think that's
why the lack of appreciation.
Yeah, for sure.
But I mean, Grey we'll talk about it sometime. But like, what an like established album. Like it's
amazing
so
album.
well made.
Yeah.
Like she just like it's like an established album, isn't it? It's like an artist has released a couple of albums and they're like doing their kind of like fighting to like get their place in the market, and then they just drop an album and you're like, whoa, okay. That's what I think. That's what a bit. I don't know if you agree with me, but like Eve, so Rapsody's album Eve, which is just like I felt on previous albums, maybe she's like kind of maybe not establishing herself, but like experimenting a little bit more and like delving into a lot of like features, sampling a lot of like songs like what was it, Crown, and sampled quite a few songs of like recent artists like Solange and the Lil Wayne song, was it Mad? Yeah. Was it? I think it was in there.
It was.
Yeah. But and then obviously like Eve came out and it was just like an established album.
Not a fan of Latest Wisdom?
Oh, I love it. I love it. I'm just saying, I felt like it was a different vibe. I wasn't just jumping over that completely. No, I felt like Eve was just a different thing. It was like, you know what, I'm not going to be trying to like fight for like my place in the market, like I'm established here.
Yeah. And she even said it's like what's the sheep's opinion to a goat? I was like, I like that line. Like that was a good line. But look, you know, talking about Eve, I think again, really unappreciated album. And not because it's coming from a woman or anything like that. I just think if you look at how kind of what she was trying to do, like kind of to like embody like all the black female inspirations that she's had. Yeah. And to put it together in like under an hour or so, I think it was like amazing.
Hour,
like,
3 minutes.
Such a good concept, really good concept. And again, she kind of like explores all the kind of aspects of womanhood, like, you know, sexual attraction or leaving a mark, being quite bold, being quite like, do you know what I mean? Like she kind of, really did all things with that album. So but at the same time, when it comes to an album like Eve, again, you're gonna have to sit and listen to that one. Like you can't.
There's not a lot of like, I'm gonna like just go for a drive and like put this on and like listen to.
And I think she
like Cleo. Or like something.
Yeah, exactly. Like it is just really just like, if you like rap and if you like Rapsody, you're gonna listen to it. But she was just really uncompromising with that record. Yeah. And again, most artists normally have. And that's, you know, this is actually a good point actually. So when you come to a lot of like artists, and this is definitely something that happens where they'll make the album, right, and they'll be like, oh we need a song for the ladies. Like, oh, these, you know what I mean? It would be like a slow song. They'll throw an R&B singer on it.
Yeah.
But
in what kind of album do you mean?
most albums, like, if you think of every album, especially when it comes to big artists, Drake is like the biggest offender of this, where they'll have a song or a set of songs that is specifically catered to women because they know women are gonna love that song. So it's quite interesting where you think of it the other way, where it's like, let me have a song just for the guys, where I'm just talking about, you know, guys like talking about fucking, I'm gonna have a song about fucking, and that's kind of taken such a bad way, really.
Yeah. Again, because of like why are they allowed to express it in the same way guys are?
Yeah.
But we're all humans at the end of the day.
Exactly. So,
but yeah, Eve, what an album! I think what you started talking about with the way that albums just like every single song is named after a different like important woman, either in her life or someone she kind of looks to like emulate or something. I think that's such a good, like, it's just so impactful. Yeah. Like, I guess some artists have done that before. Like you'd see with like Homecoming, like Beyonce's album. So I think that was like a recording of like was it Glastonbury Festival?
No, it's Coachella.
And I know there were like elements in that where she had like quotes and stuff from people that had impacted her life. And I know I will recommend, again, we're live, I'll recommend Jamila Wood's album Legacy, which again does a similar kind of thing of like looking back to like people who have come before her, people that have like paved the way for her to be in the position she's in, which, I mean, obviously, I think Rapsody, did she just release a song the other day?
Yeah, she did.
Which
September
was like
12th. Yeah.
Was that?
It was talking about
reference to.
It was reference to like police brutality. Actually, it's like I got 99 problems, but you know 12 is still one, which is, you know, fair enough. That she was really bold in that one.
Because I think it was, maybe I'm mixing up with, because I know I think Jamila released a song a couple of days ago, which was like a reference to a Toni Morrison book. Again, like. Just like trying to respect people who have come before her, paving the way for her to be in the position that she is in today.
You know, can't say it to make it the Rapsody episode, but I think another album, you know, since you brought Eve, I'm gonna bring in Invasion of Privacy. So. This album was actually recommended to me quite a few times, and I just kind of sat on it like, oh, you know, it's not going to be for me, like, whatever. So now I was in the gym the other day, and I was like, you know what, like, just kind of get myself, like, prepared for this episode. I was like, you know, I'm just going to listen to, like, women artists through and through. And I was listening to the album, and I was like, I actually really like this. Like, this album was really fucking good, and obviously I think, you know, it's been popular, like, I understand the impact that it had.
When it first came out, what stopped you going for it?
I think when I heard it wasn't even Bodak Yellow at the time. I think it was a Get Up 10, and it just seemed like a rip-off of Meat Mill's Dreams and Nightmares.
I was listening to that today.
And during it's
as I was doing the dishes.
It's a good song, right? But I just thought, that's what the album's gonna be like, right? It's gonna be like, you know, interpolations of like other popular artists, and just you know, quite formulaic, and she's gonna make it work. And that's not wholly untrue, but I think her execution, I definitely didn't give her enough credit for her execution. Like, she can rap much better than most rappers, like male or female. Like, even if it's a ghostwriter, right? Like, she executes. And I think most songs, I can't say I disliked. I think there was one or two songs. I think maybe the last song and Be Careful that I just didn't like. But I was like, I can see why, like, people really like her. And again, I think when it comes to conscious albums, I think Rapsody actually put this in a nice way in the interview, where it's like, you being socially conscious isn't you just talking about deep stuff, just literally you talking about the world around you. And I actually think Cardi B did that quite well on that album, where it might just be a one or two lines, but it's not like she didn't address anything, like, you know,
talking about history, where she's come from.
Get
Up 10 just does exactly that, doesn't it?
Exactly. And like, you know, she talks about, she was a dancer, she talks about surgery, she talks about, you know, what she did and who she's with, and she's very, very uncompromising in that sense. And so I think she's quite honest on that record, even though it is behind like a lot of bangers and stuff like that. But I think yeah, the execution was much better than I thought it was. To be fair.
Yeah.
And I think that's why she's been able to kind of sit on that album for the past 2.5 years. It's been a long time since she dropped an album.
What was it, 17?
Yeah, she's only dropped a handful of singles since then. Obviously, What being one of them, Money being one, which kind of dropped right after. But I think it's because the thing is, right, if the album wasn't good and people weren't listening to it, then she would have dropped another album by now because she would have run out of money. But
But obviously she's still,
she's doing just fine. And I think, it's because like, and I like when artists do that, right? When it's kind of like, okay, they're not just trying to like chase their
I'm not gonna rush it.
Yeah, they chase their rookie season. They're just like, okay, I'm gonna take my time.
Yeah.
And, I'll give you these little singles, but the album's gonna be good. So
they're not gonna do like I mean, I know I have a lot of bones to pick with Lil Baby, but they're not gonna like release 5 albums a year. And like,
yeah. But to be fair, I can't really get away with that one because yes, the Lil Babies and the Gunners of the world do drop quite a lot of projects, but so do Griselda. Mate.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe at one point we'll talk about them. Griselda. I don't know if we'll have an episode on them, but yeah, they release a lot.
God, especially bloody who's the one that does? Hey yo, who's that good?
Is that
West Side
Gun?
West Side Gun. Yeah, he drops like bloody.
His little ad-libs.
Yeah, like
oh
yeah, he and Don's. I haven't heard anyone complain about them. Like people say, "Oh God, it's so good!" Like dropping so much content. So I can't really shit on them for doing that. But again, I do appreciate that. Cardi B has like kind of sat on that project, kind of let it marinate, kind of let the album grow as well. And I think I'm actually looking forward to what she comes out. I'm not even just saying that. Like I'm looking forward to what she comes out with next because I think if she just has a bit more direction, cuts out the fat, has better features, I think she can legitimately have like a top 10 contender. Who knows? Like legit.
So, top 10 what, album of the year or like?
Yeah, no, legit.
Yeah.
What do you think of City Girls?
Not much.
Not much. Not much of a fan.
I haven't. Well, I remember talking with you. I think you mentioned it a couple of weeks ago, and I gave a couple songs a listen. But I don't know. I can't really speak authoritatively on them yet. I know you've dived into it a little bit more.
Fair. Any other female rappers that you listen to?
At the moment, so at the start of the year again, a bit like Jay Haas. It feels like it was 3 years ago. But 070 Shake.
I don't listen to her. Actually.
You don't? Have you listened to some and then decided not to? Or
I heard she was on the Kanye album, right?
Yeah.
It just wasn't for me.
What, Yay last year?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah.
Was that last year or 2 years ago? It was last year.
Oh, it came out. No, it was 2018 because it came out with Daytona.
Oh yeah,
and then
Ghost.
Yeah.
Like I heard
strange
on that one.
summer of 2018.
Yeah, that's a good summer to be fair. But I have heard of her. For me, a big thing is voices. So I think her voice, when I first heard it, I was like, "Ooh, this doesn't, this doesn't tickle my fancy."
It is weird. It's a bit like haunting. It's a bit kind of strange, but I don't know. I like she's kind of doing her own thing. So she dropped Guilty Conscience at the start of this year, which I thought was pretty good. Yeah, I thought some good music in there. I know she's been kind of popping up around because she's on Kanye's label, isn't she? Good music. So I think she's appeared on a few albums around. But yeah, I'd give her a go. Who else am I listening to at the moment? I wrote down some artists because when we were talking about Griselda, I was like trying to listen to some more artists from Buffalo.
Okay.
So
there is one woman from Buffalo, isn't there? I cannot remember her name, but I have heard her name come up before.
Was it Shay Noir?
That's the one.
I played it in your car the other day.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Yes, you did. Yeah,
so
she's good.
She's released a couple. She released an album last year, and then her album this year was like a joint. I'm gonna have to check my notes. I've forgotten who it was with Apollo Brown, which was a great album. They had like a feature from Black Thought, which is pretty big. Yeah. I feel like is he doing more music at the moment than he was like 3-4 years ago?
Black Thought.
Yeah.
He
just seems to pop up on random albums here and there.
Do you know what it is, right? Especially when you're like a legacy artist.
Yeah.
You do kind of indulge in that, like, I don't need to do features. I don't need to be out at these shows anymore. But then you realize my relevancy is kind of dying out. So I kind of need to do something, right? So I think I don't know. He's not. What show was he on? Was it SNL?
Oh, he's like, so him and the Roots.
Yeah.
They're on Jimmy Kimmel's.
Jimmy Kimmel, that's the one.
Was it?
Yeah.
Not Saturday Night Live. That's
Yeah, something like
he's on like a late show.
Yeah, and I think after a while it was kind of like, okay, they're just known for that. But
Yeah.
I think, especially rappers, any rapper, they're egotistical as fuck, right? Like they want to be known as the best.
Especially when his like 12-minute freestyle came out.
Yeah,
and everyone was like, he can rap.
Exactly.
Like,
so
he's been rapping for a while.
So I reckon, right, it's just kind of like he's seeing all these conversations of like the best rappers ever, and you know he'll give his respect to like the Nas's and the Jay-Z's, but I think after a while it's like, fuck, where's my name? I'm like, I'm pretty good, and I think Andre 3000 might suffer the same fate maybe later on. I think right now people always like add him as like, you know, a legacy vote, but
it's kind of untouched.
Yeah, but Black Thought isn't really mentioned much. I think he probably thought, you know what, like I need to remind these kids like why I'm like one of the best to ever do it. So I think that's why
and he did it. I feel like he reminded us
100%
that freestyle. Yeah,
100%. Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say check out Shay Noir. Check out Chica as well.
Okay.
CHIKA. She had a good album called Industry Games, which she released this year. Yeah, I think couple of artists. Trying to think what else I've been listening to this year. I mean, I'm sure we'll talk about Nas at some point, but his album was pretty good. Are you enjoying it the more you're listening to it?
The Nas album?
Yeah.
Actually, since we're on the topic of women, right? What do you think of the Foxy Brown feature of that album? It's a long time since I've heard a verse from Foxy Brown.
On the Nas song, Full Circle.
Yeah.
You already know how I feel about it. I just feel like there wasn't much content. It was.
I actually enjoyed it.
I know. That's why you put me on the spot right now.
No, I was listening to it when I was on a run. I was like, I don't know what Jon's on about. Like, is that actually okay? Like, I actually think the song's pretty good. Like, yeah. Again, I think another thing. I'll throw a question your way, right? When it comes to like women rappers, women hip hop artists, right? It's not that the content they're talking about is foreign. Not now I think about it. Do you think it's more of a thing where it's just in rap, it can't be received? Because when it's an R&B singer, like everyone loves SZA, right?
Yeah.
But if you put SZA's lyrics into a rapper, people are going to feel differently about that. Why is that?
You're throwing me off guard with that one. Yeah, it's an interesting idea.
Yeah, like maybe like us as guys are being a bit of a gatekeeper when it comes to rap. Like,
definitely.
Yeah,
what you're saying there.
Yeah, because I was just thinking about like, okay, like if you think of the women, and then you start thinking with women who do kind of get taken seriously as rappers in the scene, you know, lesbians. For one, Young M.A., for example, like she talks like a guy, so that's why a lot of guys like to listen to her. But when you see the ones who like, you know, all the ones who kind of make a bit of a cheeky joke about, you know, like threesomes with women, stuff like that. But then you get the women who are like, no, I'm a straight woman. They just talk about guys, and for some reason that's never received.
Yeah. Well, and that's the reason why kind of female rappers are like heterosexual, doing the same thing that male rappers do. They're not received because people that like consuming rap music are wanting to like. I guess it's the way that you like listen to rap and the way you listen to R&B. You're doing it for like a different purpose, I guess.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people, maybe when they're listening to rap specifically, they're trying to like either put themselves in the shoes of the artist themselves. So like you're trying to understand the narrative of like a Nas or a Jay-Z talking about their experiences growing up. And you're trying to put yourself into that kind of setting. So then maybe female rappers get a lot of criticism when they do the same because people are not kind of able to relate to that. Maybe I don't know. What you've asked me the question. Have you been thinking about it?
Yeah, I mean, I've been thinking about it the whole week, to be honest. Like, I don't know. It's a weird conundrum where I think maybe we need to get to the point where we just enjoy music regardless. Where it's like, and I think I have gone to that stage, to be fair. Like, for example, here's a random example. Brockhampton, right?
Yeah.
Anyone who knows I'm a fan of Brockhampton, and obviously the main guy is a gay man, right?
Yeah.
But when I sing his lyrics, I don't think,
You're not.
oh yeah, am I gay now? Like I know, I just kind of listen to him. It's like yeah, like
You just
I enjoy that song.
appreciate the
Yeah, like
music.
yeah, like sometimes I just says a line, I'm like, oh, that's a bit of a catchy line, and so I'll just rap it. But I never consider, oh, he's talking about a gay man. Same way. Again, I think that's why, like, when I was like listening to the women artists, I was like, no, this just sounds nice. Like, I'm not even like thinking of it in a sense of, oh, I'm a woman doing this to a guy. I'm just like, I like the sound of this. So yeah, I think that's probably maybe a way people can try and appreciate music more. It's just kind of like you need to put yourself in every song. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just kind of enjoy
That's true. I guess like Frank Ocean as well. Like I will sing every single Frank Ocean lyric, and I think the problem again with that, with a lot of the music industry, but more so with like hip hop and rap, is that there's so much, not just sexism, which is why we're talking about female rappers expressing like just sexual desires, like they should be conscious, but also like there's so much homophobia in rap music, which is why people are so turned off by any kind of mention of like homosexuality or whatever. I feel like it's definitely gotten better.
It has gotten better, like,
because it was I mean, it's still bad, like it's still in a lot of lyrics. I mean, if you probably listen to, like, I'm trying to think of good examples now, but like, have you got any good examples? No. Like back in the day, like Jay-Z, Nas, like 50 Cent, Game, like regular references. I feel like Rick Ross probably does.
Even remember, I think it was Born Sinner of Illuminati when J. Cole got a lot of flack for that. And I think when at the time I was it's not that big of a deal. I mean, you go back to the song, you're like, why did he even think of doing that? Like,
zero need.
There was literally zero need for that. And that just really put me off. I was like, what's he doing there? But I think that might wrap up episode 1 of the Vinyl Collective podcast. You know, if you're one of the 2 people we're listening to this, then thank you. You know, it's been good to having you here.
To our ramblings on Rapsody, on female rappers in the game at the moment. I think what we're going to try and do is look at doing some playlists on our Spotify. So,
yes, sir.
Kind of the best new music. We're going to be talking about that in a minute or so. We'll kind of put those songs on each week, kind of curate some playlists for that. Have a couple of other playlists we'll be putting up. Trying to get you, the 2 people out there right now, you guys to kind of interact a little bit with us on kind of our social media as well. Hoping that people will kind of tune in on Spotify, let us know what they thought, maybe some things they want us to talk about. Maybe they think we were completely wrong today and they're like, no, you're wrong. We're open to that too.
If you have any you know, if you have a question yourself, you can always send it to vinylcollectivepod@gmail.com. You know, might get read out on the show, might not, might just say fuck you, don't agree with that, but you know, give it a shot, you know, never know. But
best new music before we finish. Let's have a couple of songs that music.
So I don't know if I have any new music for you today, John.
Episode 1, so you can go back to the beginning of 2020. Give me 2 songs.
Okay.
And then we'll put them on our playlist.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna give you 2. Okay. So my first one is going to be Ooh Wee by Rhapsody.
Okay. I think that song why not?
Love that song. So it's gonna be both women if you didn't guess already. But and the second one, Money by Cardi B.
Okay, all right, good. Yeah, I like those choices.
Yeah.
I am gonna go with okay, this is a hard song. So Light Pack, the Joe Badass trio. I'm gonna go for Shine.
Okay.
The last song off that.
Okay.
The middle song with Pusha T had a very nice beat in there.
It did.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll go with Shine, Joe Badass, and then since we were talking about Foxy Brown, I'll go for Full Circle, the Nas song. I just must say though, when AZ came on and did his line, I missed it. He's just got such a smooth, but also like game, like kind of like thick voice.
He's so New York, like, and you know, it's literally no joke. Yeah. So like right after that verse, I searched up like AZ's discography on Spotify. I was like, I want to see what the latest AZ album is. 22 years, nothing. Like, what the fuck happened to him? Like, where's he gone? I was so like.
Was it like format really was like?
Yeah.
I feel like he released something in like mid 2000s maybe, which is when the format came out, right?
I don't know if it's a solo album. Like the last one was 98, if I remember correctly. I'm gonna double check that. I'm pretty sure it's 98.
Gonna check it live on air. I'm
Yeah,
gonna say mid 2000s or late 2000s. Easy came out with an album. The results are in.
The results are in. Oh, both. Yeah, no. No. You are right. It was
2006.
2006.
The format.
Yeah, damn.
There we go.
That's still a long fucking time, isn't it?
Yeah,
like 14 years.
14 years.
So yeah, like I don't know. He definitely needs to rap more, mate. Yeah, I wouldn't mind hearing some more Foxy Brown. To be fair, but yeah.
Apparently, there's a long-awaited album from her. I don't know. I've been reading some things that she has an album in the works.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you know what's,
which I'd do.
I would listen to her. But you know what it is with
that a
Foxy Brown? Like, she was rapping when I was like, what, like a fetus, right? So, you know, I can't say I'm like, yeah, I'm anticipating a Foxy Brown album, but yeah, I mean, if it's good, obviously, if it's good music,
There'll be some
I'd love to hear
excellent
it.
features as well.
Yeah, to be fair, she'll definitely have all like the old school people, right?
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? So,
but yeah, I feel like that is the end of this episode. Yeah, if you kind of check us out on Instagram and Twitter, we're there on Vinyl Collective Pod. I think on Twitter we are
TVC Pod. Where everywhere where things are relevant are happening.
That's true.
Yeah.
So we're not on Facebook.
To be fair. No, Facebook, absolutely not, mate.
But yeah, check us out. Check our account here on Spotify as well for some playlists.
Yeah. So these songs of the week, or whatever you want to call it, you know, the new music, we're going to add them to a playlist. So yeah, when we have guests on as well, to be able to add on their songs as well. So if you want to check out some of the songs we're recommending, if you know the way Jon describes the song is just tickling your fancy, then yeah, pop onto this playlist. We'll be there.
Yeah. Cool. All right.
Cool. Cheers. We out.